Today's episode is about following up with your clients. Following up with your clients. It's an extremely important thing to do, whether it's before the event, during the event, after the event. We're going to get into all of those points. Welcome back to another episode of The Clever DJ. A quick intro about the podcast before I begin. My name is Ilya and I've been a DJ for just about 3 years now. And this podcast is here to capture my journey from absolute beginner to pro. We are on episode 39 now, I believe. And I had to change a little bit of the production. As you may know, if you've been here before, this used to be a podcast with two people. There was a co-host. Now, he had to leave for personal reasons. He may be back in the future, maybe not. We'll see. But I had to make some decisions about the production, the lighting, the camera. I have this tablet here now, so so if my phone is not around, it's incredible. I can just use that, and it's way more convenient. And I got an amazing camera. If anyone needs a webcam or something for their gigs, or just a camera for podcasting, whatever it is, for streaming, it's good for everything. I just got the OBS Bot Meet 2. It came out very recently, and it's not expensive. It's like $130 US, 180 Canadian dollars. Incredible. The list of features that you have, all the things it can do, and the quality, 4K and great sensor, great lens. Like, it's just an amazing camera, and it's this small. It's tiny. It's like two of my thumbs. Not even from the start, from the middle. So yeah, this is just here. I'm here to capture my journey. I started just about 2 to 3 years ago. It's hard to say exactly when, because honestly, the first time I got a controller was, I think, 2015 or 2016, and then I played around with it. I didn't get what I was doing. I left it. Then I met someone. He showed me a few things. I left it again. Met someone, showed me a few things. I left it again. And at some point, I was bartending, and I was working at a venue, a few venues, and then. And one of them, I met a DJ, and I told him, listen, I'm also a music producer, and if you will agree to let me shadow you and you teach me how to DJ properly, because I got back into it, I'm starting to kind of get it, but I need someone to really speed this up for me so I can start doing gigs, right? I will, in turn, I will provide whatever I can as a music producer for your business. We became friends. We discovered I have pretty good photography and videography skills as well. I leveled up his social media game, PR skills, and all that stuff. And all of that came together like a package for my own business, for my own DJing career. And from practicing at home here and there to getting a few gigs, to getting some consistent gigs, I just, for the first time, and if you were here before, you know, I've never done it before. For the first time, I did my own, from start to finish, my own wedding gig. So, yeah, I'll need some applause. So, what happened was I took this podcast took a lot of my time, and I started gigging less, and I was learning about. Just like I got really interested in podcasting and, teaching others what I know. I do have a couple students at this point. I'm teaching absolute beginners, people who never, ever touched a controller. And for me, it's really easy to teach them. I find that I'm a pretty decent teacher. They're learning quickly and they're loving it. And it's great because when you teach someone and they respect you and you appreciate, how they learn, you can add them to your team. So now I have two people who I can trust to bring to gigs with me, especially when they get to a certain level where they can do things on their own, and I can send them to separate gigs to get even more money and more exposure for my company, right? And that's what's amazing about teaching someone. Sometimes you can charge them because they're coming in as students. Sometimes it's totally free because they're coming in just to learn the skill. I am really against keeping someone for too long for free. At some point, if you're starting to get value from them, you got to pay them. It sucks to lose another 100, 200, 300 bucks, technically. But remember how it was before you got an assistant, how much you're benefiting and how much they're leveling up your game with all of their help and, their company and everything. And you got to pay them. And also, if you were in their shoes, you probably would want to get paid. So for me, it's really personal because I've been on either side. And only later I understood that, like maybe I should have gotten paid at some point, right? But again, different people will treat the situation differently. And if you're finding that you're benefiting from something, stay. If not, leave, but don't burn any bridges. That is definitely something you need to remember. In business, set your ego aside as much as you can. If you can't, if it's something that you just have to deal with, okay, it's a one-off. But try not to start wars with anyone, unless you can finish them and be the one who wins. But I kind of started rambling. I almost lost my train of thought there. What I was going to say is that I really started focusing on the podcast and less on actually gigging. And I did different gigs. I did birthdays. I did different kinds of birthdays. I did house parties. I did like certain things in venues as well, but never a wedding. Right? I was absolutely terrified of the idea of me doing a wedding by myself or even helping someone. Now, this was a simpler wedding, still had all the aspects of a regular wedding, but they were trying to save some money. They were more modest. They weren't on my case with everything, but it made it easier for me to be the best version of myself and not be nervous. And I prepared as much as possible. Now, I'll tell you something about preparing for this wedding. So the first one was actually my second client for weddings. The first client, that's coming up in October. So what happened was I got my first client. I was really happy. I have like a month. I'm good. And then then I get a message, and I only see it a day later, like 24 hours later, and I'm like, they need a DJ for Saturday, like this. So it is Saturday, and they need a DJ for next Saturday, for September the 21st. And I'm like, can I do it? And I'm with my friends, and I'm like almost like jumping off my seat. I'm like, can I do it? It's a second client. Do I say yes to this? Like, I need to really make sure that I'm acting correctly here. And I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I'll figure it out. I can do this. And I respond. I think they didn't want to call first. They kind of wanted to kind of feel it out with a chat. Later, I understood why they did that. And I explained everything. I was actually really strict about things. I was like, you know what? You want me there a week from now, less than a week from now, technically, because I was not even home. So Sunday was going to be the first day I was going to start preparing, really. Then you're going to have to pay some sort of premium. So I charged the first couple a decent fee, almost as much as a professional DJ would charge. And on a platform where usually you can only charge up to half of that. So that went really well. And then I charged these guys a tiny bit more, because I felt for them. I didn't know if they're going to get their deposit back. They're never going to go with a DJ again, because apparently I asked them, did your DJ bail on you? And they said, yeah. So I'm kind of fast forwarding. That's after they already wanted to make set an appointment, set a meeting on Zoom. And their DJ double booked. And again, I don't know if I'll ever be in that situation. I don't think I will, because I'm extremely organized with this kind of stuff. But he double booked, And he said, apparently, I'll send someone else, and then I'll switch. And I heard about this kind of stuff. And one of the people who mentored me, showed me how to DJ, and like took me to gigs with them. They did that too, right? So some people really don't like that though. So they backed away from the deal, and they seemed like really nice people. And I'm very, you already know that about me if you've watched some episodes. I'm very spiritual, very trying to help everyone, and I just find that it really, really like what goes around comes around, and more often than not, I benefit from it in one way or another. Like for example, one time I fixed someone's computer, an old lady. And the old lady was going to get her money and said, well, how much would it be? And because I told her like approximately $300 for what she said. But then it was such a simple fix. It just, she didn't know what she was doing. And she just, it was as simple as something not plugged in, but not exactly that. So I told her, you know what, this one's on the house. But the only thing I'll ask you for is to call me when you actually have a real issue, because that's not a real issue. I got 3 more calls from her, and I got paid nicely. And I got paid with a tip and tea and cookies and everything. That's just one way that I benefited from something like that. So I just find that being nice is generally something that's really going to help you. So I give them a good price too. But definitely not cheap, not the way I used to price things before. And that's really what I'm getting at. And I'm sorry I'm kind of rambling here. It's just so much has happened in the last few weeks, and I'm really trying to put it together in my head. I actually, for the last few episodes, I was reading off a script. I was trying to kind of get used to being on this podcast on my own. And now I'm just chatting with you guys. So, I'm trying to kind of not forget my train of thought. So what happened was, I didn't gig for a long time, and then the first thing I get is a wedding. Once I started like advertising myself again and stuff on one of our most like known platforms that I mentioned in the past, I get a wedding, and then I get another one with like 5 or 6 days to prepare. And by the way, when they messaged me back, it was like 5 or 4 days like away from the wedding, because she never messaged me back after my message. It took her like 2 days to get back to me, and then another day to like actually have an appointment, like a meeting. Or a few more hours, like half a day. So yeah, I went back into the world of gigging. It was hard. It was hard to switch from doing this to that. I was kind of thinking, like I'll get back to it when the time is right. Like right now I'm doing this, but I knew that like, hey, summer's almost over. Summer's pretty much over. In the US, it's a little longer because everyone goes back to school a bit later in September. But I was like, if I'm gonna get any gigs this year, I need to start again now. So yeah, that's like I honestly don't remember. I had to cut earlier because I totally forgot what I was talking about, and but then I kind of got back to what it was. And I'm exhausted this weekend because it took everything out of me to be prepared for this gig. And guess what? They were absolutely grateful and satisfied, and it went so well. And I'm not nervous at all for my next DJ gig, my next wedding gig, because it went extremely well, and I've done so much in 1 week or less than a week that it really elevated my game and showed me just how much I'm capable of, how much I'm capable of achieving in such a short period of time. So yeah, I'm just absolutely exhausted this weekend. There were other responsibilities I had to tend to, and that's just the DJ life, right? I mean, for those of you who are just like me and not doing it full time yet, you have a lot of other responsibilities. So today's episode is about following up with your clients. Following up with your clients, it's extremely important, and it proved to be important in any business I was a part of. And I have a list of points that I wrote down here and some honorable mentions towards the end, because I like doing that. You can't really put everything in one list. So number one is building strong relationships. Following up shows that you care about your clients beyond the initial booking. It helps you build long-term relationships, which can lead to repeat bookings or referrals. A simple check-in after an event shows appreciation for their business, creating a positive, lasting impression. So it's honestly important to follow up with your clients before, during, and after. So communicate with them all the time. Now, don't drive them crazy, but make sure to find a good time to follow up with them before, during, and after. So before would be to set expectations and to make sure you're on the same page. During, make sure that everything is going according to the plan and they're happy, because you don't want something to snowball. And then after, which is really what following up is, what I meant in the beginning. That's how this episode started. I was thinking, you know what, this is really important. Let me talk about it. But at the end, the event is over. You'll go up to them and you'll make sure they're happy, and that everything went well. But after the event, and I'll tell you later when, it's important to follow up with them as well. And it's, again, all about building a strong relationship with your clients. Number two is ensuring client satisfaction. Follow-up allows you to gather feedback. Ask clients questions like, was the music selection what you hoped for? Or is there anything we could have done differently? It shows that you're committed to delivering the best service. And resolving any issues post-event helps maintain a strong relationship, even if things didn't go perfectly. And by the way, I had a couple moments at my gig where, things could have gone better, but because of the way we communicated, they were extremely happy, and they didn't even notice certain things that I noticed, obviously, and that happens a lot. You think, oh, they're going to notice it for sure. And even if they did, they may not care as much as you do. But again, depends what it is. Number three, professionalism and reliability. Regular communication shows professionalism. It reassures the client that you're organized, reliable, and invested in their event. Now, take me personally. If somebody works for me or with me, I'm not difficult to deal with as long as you follow what I asked you from the start and why I'm paying you. I'm not going to expect anything out of the ordinary. I tell you from the start, this is why I'm hiring you. And these are mistakes I'm willing to let go, and these are things that you cannot do. Can you take the job? And it's important to me to know that the person that I hired is invested in my event, in my cause, and what I'm doing. So you should feel the same way when somebody's hiring you. Whatever they're doing is likely a very important event. And even if it's not very important, even if it's not a wedding or something very important, and it's just like a party or something, it's still important to them. So you need to show that you actually care. And you really should care, not just act like you do. And timely follow-ups, like confirming details before the event, reduce the risk of miscommunication, and help manage expectations on both sides. It's very important. Number four, opportunities for future gigs. When you follow up after a successful event, you can subtly position yourself for future gigs. Mention upcoming events or your availability for other types of parties, which I did, and it actually worked very well in my favor. And clients who feel valued are more likely to recommend you to others or hire you again. And that's what I was going to say. It was pretty funny. He said, the groom said, not planning to get married again. and I laughed and said, I hope you don't. I hope you guys stay together. We laughed it out. But he said, if anyone else is getting married, I'll definitely recommend you. And I said, hey, I do all kinds of events, not just weddings. Like, yeah, anything. Well, we have your information. And we spoke a few more times before they left. They were definitely a very nice couple, very nice family. Both sides were just amazing. It was just such a pleasure working with them, celebrating with them. And I mean, why shoot yourself in the foot? Speak to them. Number 5, creating a referral network. Ask satisfied clients if they know of anyone else who might need a DJ. So we're kind of tying it into the other point. This can naturally extend your network and generate leads. Offer a small incentive for referrals, such as a discount for future events, which encourages word of mouth marketing. It's like a beautiful recipe. All these things that I'm telling you right now, if you actually do it, and again, you may not be a natural at first. It's easier for me to talk to people than the next person. That's one of my skills. But it's just even on this podcast, like even though I'm good at public speaking and just coming up with stuff on the spot, this was hard for me. This was something new. This was something that I was nervous about, but I was like, you know what? I want to do this. So I did it and I learned and I got better, and I'm still obviously improving. Same with what you're doing. Your business requires you to do this if you want to get somewhere. If you want to get somewhere, like you don't want to just remain small. You want to actually evolve and expand. Number 6, collecting testimonials and reviews. After a successful event, ask clients for testimonials or reviews. Positive feedback on your website or social media can help attract new clients. That's extremely important, because most of the times when I get new clients, they're asking, "Hey, like, can you show us some reviews or like some validity to what you're saying, right? You're saying you're a good DJ, you're saying you can do this, and that, but can we see some videos, some reviews?" So make sure you actually have something prepared, right? Set up a camera, make sure they're okay with it. If they're not totally okay with it, ask them if you could, tell them you need to take some promotional material. So far, nobody has ever told me no. And it's actually going to work in their favor in the end too, which I'll get to that. But make sure that you actually have a footprint online with previous clients, and whether it's reviews, videos, make sure you do that. And if you don't collect those reviews, then it kind of seems like you've never really DJ'd to them sometimes, because they're like, okay, well, you only have 3 reviews, but you've been a DJ for 10 years? Are you sure you've been doing this for 10 years? You may not get a chance to prove it to them with your skills, right? And you can even create a short follow-up email template requesting a quick review, making it easy for clients to share their thoughts. And that's not how I do it, but maybe I will in the future. And that's something I saw online, and I thought I will write it down. And, it was for another business, but it actually works really well for this one as well. It's just a general thing you should be doing. What I do is this. So I'll walk up to the client and I'll say, "Hey, how did everything go? Time flew by, whatever. Like small talk, and then how did everything go? Is there anything you'd like to tell me? I hope you enjoyed everything, but please honestly tell me if there's anything I could have done better." And then they'll say, "Oh, you know what? Everything was perfect, except the music was a bit loud for half the night, a bit too loud. We couldn't hear each other speak. But if you're on the dance floor, that was good. But for those who weren't on the dance floor, just wanted to speak, it was really hard for them to hear each other. They had to step outside." And then, you could say something to save yourself. Kind of not really blame someone, but, everything is your own responsibility. But you can say, "Hey, it was quieter earlier. You're right. And I did change that because I got several people walking up to me telling me it's too quiet. You know what? I should have checked with you." So really here you're showing that, you were doing that to make it better for the guests, but you kind of maybe dropped the ball a little bit. You should have spoke to them, asked them, or maybe follow up, like actually go and double check, right? "Hey, I just raised the volume. Like, what do you think?" and go stand there, and listen. Right, every once in a while you should go and check out the audio and see how it sounds to others. Right, because unless you have a monitor, it's really hard to tell how it sounds. And then also, the monitors, usually a small speaker, the two big speakers or however many you have are pointed at a crowd, and they're in front of you usually, or to the side. So yeah, it's extremely important to speak to them and double check that you actually are on the same page. So after you ask them that and they give you an answer, you can then say something like this. So first of all, if you didn't like their answer and they really didn't like the way that you DJ'd or whatever, they had too many complaints, don't bring up a review. You don't want them on that page. But if you think that they're going to give you a good review, and there's no way to know for sure, but if you think they're going to give you a good review, you can then bring it up. You can then say something. So I kind of feel it out. Okay, they're generally happy, or like they're extremely happy. They have one point that they mentioned that was like just because they wanted to say it, and I'll say that's awesome. I'm so happy that that this is how you feel. And I may not say anything about a review, but then I'll say, hey, I will follow up with you guys after the event, just so you know if that's okay with you. I say, yeah, sure, but I don't tell them exactly when, and that's because I want to create some suspense, and I want to show them that I care to follow up right after the event. So a day later, I'll leave them alone for like maybe 1 day, and I'll follow up the next day, or maybe it'll be the day after the wedding. It depends on how late we finished and how tired everyone is and what their plans are. And sometimes you know what they're doing. Some of them are going to like an after party at a hotel, or they're staying up all night. So, and then I'll speak to them about the review on that phone call or email or whatever, right? Usually it's a phone call. It's an email, then a phone call. So I subtly follow up by sending an email first, giving them a moment to kind of respond to it, give them like a few hours. If they don't respond to it, I will give them a phone call. If they respond to it, but our phone call is still recommended based on the situation, I'll call them anyway, right? So, and that's how I ensure good client relationships. What I could also say is, if they're really happy, and sometimes they'll offer it themselves, they'll say, hey, yeah, we loved it. And by the way, do you need a review? We'll review. We'll give you a 5-star review. That's a no-brainer. Say, yes, here's my website, or here's where you're going to review it, or hey, I'm going to send it to you once I get home. When you have a moment tomorrow, on next weekend, whenever you can, I'll be really happy if you leave me a review. I even told them, hey, if you don't mind, add a photo. I really like that photo we took together. And that's why every event I take a photo with a client, if it's appropriate. So far, it's been always appropriate. We did a photo shoot, and then we did with a cell phone, and then the photographer also took a few photos of us. So I sent them all those photos in an email, and I said, I have some amazing reviews on my website, and I'd love it if you added another review for me. So that's another way of me saying, hey, can you give me a 5-star review, without saying, can you give me a 5-star review? I think this is golden advice for anyone who doesn't know how to approach the situation. So number 7, closing the loop. A follow-up after the event completes the client journey. It's a professional way to thank them for their business, ask for feedback, and remind them that you're ready for their next event. That's really what we just spoke about, but I kind of wanted to explain that this is where the last stop is. For me, like I said, I still will, do a kind of an intricate follow-up. I ease them into it. So an email, and it's important what you write in the email. I gave you a few examples, and then a phone call almost always, if necessary, or a text or something. In my case, they always want to talk, and I never force them into it or make them feel uncomfortable. Obviously, if it makes no sense, it makes no sense. You don't do that. But in my case, it's always been welcomed. So that's it for those 7 pointers, from start to finish, from building strong relationships to closing the loop. And now for some honorable mentions. I just want to get into a bit of detail. So a personalized touch, that's number one. Number one is a personalized touch. Personalizing your follow-up can make a huge difference. Mention specific moments from the event, like a special song request or a unique interaction, to show you were fully engaged and attentive. This level of attention can turn one-time clients into repeat customers who feel a personal connection with your brand. Now, I kind of touched on that earlier. That's why I said I'll talk about it later, about a few of these points, because they all come up here in the honorable mentions. That's the extra that I like to add on. The email I sent them had some information about the event, some, like how I feel, how they feel, things that happened, right? And it's a very short email, but like I found the right wording, a few paragraphs, very short paragraphs, right? Easy for them to read instead of one chunk of text. And it's all there. It's elegant, right? The delivery is just perfect. And it shows them that even after the event is done, it's such a pleasant experience dealing with me, right? That's what I'm trying. I'm hoping that's how they feel, right? And like I said, this level of attention can turn one-time clients into repeat customers because they felt a connection with your brand. They felt, wow, nobody's ever done this to us or with us. Like, this is such a different experience. And that's how I feel when somebody gives me that experience with their booth, wherever we go, or someone we hired. Right away, I reach into my pocket for a tip, and I say, like I'll see you again in the future. Well, definitely, we will be speaking again, because why not? Like, I found the person I'm going to hire for all my events or all my needs for the whatever that was. So have a personalized touch. Don't just act like a robot with everyone, do what everyone does. Do like remember certain parts about your clients, certain things about your client. Remember funny things that happened. For example, I'll give you an example. I bumped my laptop and the song cut off, like the USB, just kind of disconnected. And it was a slow song. It was All of Me. And it was crazy. I'm like, at that moment, like I felt my head heating up, like it was like 1,000 degrees, because I was so nervous, like out of nowhere. Like I was so happy running towards the laptop to do something. Somebody requested something. And I do that sometimes. I walk to the dance floor, or like aside to the table, if I see that they're like, they want to talk to me, but they don't know how to approach me. Like, you always have to communicate with them. You always have to look at the crowd. It depends on the event too, but in this one, it made sense. And it was really cool because everyone started singing. Like at a show, where something happens to the mic and you can't hear the singer. Everyone started singing. It was absolute. I'm happy it happened. It was such a nice moment, and everyone loved it. And then, I fixed it, and I restarted the song from that chorus, not from the very beginning, but from that chorus. And I faded into it, and it was just beautiful, and it made things better. And that's, you need to know how to fix those kind of things. And I don't even know how I knew that. It was instinct. So yeah, sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm not as much of a beginner as I used to believe, because it has been a few years after all, right? A couple years. And why I say 2 to 3 years, like just under 3 years, because I took breaks. I didn't practice in the very beginning almost at all. So, that's why when you ask someone, oh, how long have you been singing for? How long have you been playing guitar for? People kind of like stop sometimes, and they don't know what to answer, because they bought a guitar like 15 years ago, and then they messed around with it for a couple of years, and then they left it, and they came back to it. So, and then like, at some point, I just stopped being a beginner, right? It just, it's just funny how that happens. So have those moments kind of noted down, and you can mention it. So I mentioned it, and I know they're gonna have a good laugh, and it's gonna kind of create that personal feeling with them without me even being in the room wherever they are reading that email, right? And or I'll say it on the phone or something. So that's just one example, like a real example. I mean, it just happened like 24 hours ago. Number two, timing is everything. The timing of your follow-up matters. That's what I was saying. I'll talk to you later about this, because it's coming up. So the timing of your follow-up matters. A quick follow-up the day after the event shows that it's priority for you. It's a priority for you, but not rushing. It gives the client time to decompress and reflect on the experience. So go ahead and follow up right after the event, a day after. If it makes sense, like I said, they might be up very late and maybe you should give them an extra day. But within 48 hours, you should definitely follow up. If you're not sure if you should call, text them. Text them the next day and then call them the day after that. But feel it out. Some people might take it as, you're being too much. So it depends on, again, you should know your client. And so that's really important. And for longer term follow-ups, weeks or months later, it can be as simple as a checking in message to stay on their radar without being intrusive. Because again, you have their phone number, you have their email, doesn't mean that you're their best friend now and now you should be messaging them every holiday. So I make it a habit to message my clients once or twice a year, and that's enough. Like twice is more than enough. I have 2 clients who I message maybe 4 or 5 times a year because we're very, very close. And I'm checking in like, hey, is this happening? Like just letting you know, I'm getting really like booked for this month. Just letting you know if this is happening, I need to know soon. Right. So again, and that shows them how like, wow, he remembers that's when his birthday is, or that's when this is happening, or that's when we go on vacation, and he may be free around that time, but we may not be. Like I just know their schedule. I know everything about them that I need to know in order to give them a good service. And it's important to do that because they'll remember you and they'll give you more work. And it's really awesome where you can get more work from the same person. You already have a rapport with them and it's easy. You know them and you know what they like. And it's just, honestly, like it does not require as much work as it would if it was a new client, right? Repeat clients are usually way, way more fun and easier to work with because you already have a relationship and a set of standards and expectations, right? Number 3, offering additional services. When following up, it's a great time to mention other services you offer, like lighting, emceeing, or sound system rentals. If they had a good experience with your DJing, they might consider you for their next event's full package. So remember how I told you when the groom said, oh, if there's any other weddings, I'll let you know. And then I told him, oh, okay, well, I do other parties too. And they already know about all of my other stuff because I told them what I do and I told them like kind of gear I have for different events and kind of packages I have and everything. But again, if it didn't come up yet, then do it later. And if you have nothing else to talk about, then at least mention that. So this is especially useful. This is especially useful if your client is hosting multiple events like weddings, corporate parties, or holiday celebrations. One of my clients actually was, he said that, hey, my company requires a DJ twice a year. And that was a birthday for his girlfriend that I was DJing at a bar. But out of that gig, I got a couple other gigs. So I got one corporate event for his company, and then I got another private event for him, but like for his family member, someone else in his family. So it's definitely useful to do that. Number 4, client loyalty programs. That's something I like to do. A follow-up can be an opportunity to introduce a client loyalty program, offering a discount or special package deal for repeat clients can create a sense of exclusivity and drive loyalty. highlighting that they are a valued customer through such programs can lead to ongoing business. Just like there's affiliate programs and stuff like that online that shows you that, hey, if you help our business, we'll pay you, or we'll give you certain special offers. You need to do that too. So if you're gonna get them working for you, technically bringing you business, you gotta find a way to match what they're doing for you. So if you know that money is tight for that family, offer them a serious discount for the next event. Because here's the thing, you're discounting at 10-15%, which is quite a bit, but at the same time you're getting an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and then likely now that another member in that family or a group of friends hired you and now they're seeing you again, likely someone else will, and someone else will, and someone else will, and it happens. Now, it didn't happen to me personally yet, but I've seen it happen to some bigger DJs, people who've been doing it for more years and stuff like that. I just didn't have that client yet who it just snowballed into so many people from that same family or friends. I had, like I said, the one that had a corporate also, and then another family member. But then that's kind of where it ended, right? And from time to time we still chat, and he knows I'm there, and the other one who hired me knows I'm there too. But it can really become something consistent, with time. Now, staying memorable. Number 5, staying memorable. Very important. Send something memorable along with your follow-up, like a custom playlist from the event or a short recap video with highlights from the night. This is not only to keep you in the client's mind, but also creates a sentimental connection. It's a way to offer more than just DJ services. It adds an extra layer of value to their event experience. So that ties into what I said earlier with the personalized touch. Like I said, I told you I send them photos of us together, right? So I'm kind of putting it all together elegantly. But I also, and what I said earlier, that I'm going to mention why the video is actually good for them too. Some clients don't have a videographer. Some clients don't even have a photographer. The family's taking videos and photos for them. And I'll never get it. Unless it's just a serious money issue, I'll never get how, at least hire someone, like a friend or someone, or have them make that your wedding gift for you. Get them a $100 gimbal or something and tell them, hey, try to get as nice footage as possible, right? And you'll be doing that the whole wedding. I don't know, something, right? Just get your memories, get them on footage. Get footage for your memories. Now, what I do is I tell them, hey, you said you're okay with me recording your entire event. So the way it's recorded is behind my shoulder. It's really showing me and then showing the entire dance floor and a bit around the dance floor. But I can share highlights from that for you because it's a pretty cool video to have, right? And then on top of that, between tracks and especially if I have an assistant with me, I'll take videos and photos and stuff like that, and they're very nice. It's a nice camera, it turns out really nice. So I will take, I'll spend some time. I'll maybe edit a few photos. I'll make sure that I'm sending them only the stuff they'll want to get, and then I send all of that with a Dropbox link. Now they don't have to get all that at once or load it in an email. Now they can load the Dropbox link or Google Drive link, and I'll send a little set of instructions in a notepad or an email and explain to them how to access it and that they can download only what they want or view it. The link is going to be good for a very long time. So yeah, that's what it's all about. Create an experience for the client. Build a relationship. Remain in their hearts and minds. So following up with your clients is a very important part of your business. It's a way to ensure that the relationship continues past that event. So you're not cutting ties just because the event is over. And return clients usually bring more business with them. So word of mouth, that's usually when this happens because they're coming back to you. There's a reason why they're coming back to you. And if anyone's ever going to ask them for a DJ, they're likely going to recommend you. And sometimes without even somebody asking, they'll say, oh, you should check out this DJ at my last event or at my wedding. And maybe they just wanted to show off. Maybe they just wanted to just, enjoy showing a really cool clip. That in turn created an idea in the other person's mind. Maybe I could use them. Hey, do you have his phone number? So there should be absolutely no reason for you not to follow up with your clients. Whether you want to keep them or not, for whatever reason, it's always important because I actually never even went over that. If let's say you don't want to keep the client or you don't think they'll want to have you for the next event, yeah, maybe don't start calling them after the event. But at the end of the event, you can discuss, what could have gone better. Based on the experience, you can personalize kind of some sort of some gesture, something that will make them feel better. If you could, maybe don't offer your business again if you know that they don't want to hire you again. But try to lessen the blow. Try to do something instead of just walking away because they're going to be talking about this. So you better just not ignore your clients. Now, this episode was mostly about people who want return business from the clients and things went well. But this is important to remember. Even when things don't go well, make sure you speak to your clients. If you think they're going to be nice about it and they would actually want to discuss this with you on the phone, sure, go ahead. Likely, this is not going to be the case. You have one chance right after the event. You can discuss things with them, apologize, offer some sort of resolution, and who knows, maybe because of that, they'll give you another chance, or maybe because of that, they'll forgive you, or whatever it is, you lessen the blow. Usually that works. But for everyone who wants return business because things went well, follow this guide, follow this video, everything that or this audio, whatever you are, whether you're watching this or listening to this, this is gonna seriously elevate your business and make your life easier. Because when you have return clients, you already know who they are, what they like, and they know you, and it's not new. You don't have to build that relationship all over again. And even if it's someone from the family or a friend, likely you were already in the same room together before, or they know quite a bit about you, and it's just a more fun interaction in some cases. So that would be all for tonight. Thank you very much for joining another episode of The Clever DJ. See you in the next one. Stay clever.